Have you ever learnt any Latin? Maybe you've heard of the phrase carpe diem. It means seize the day, to be opportunistic and make the most of the situation before you. As we continue to look at Paul's letter to the Philippians, we can see that he's somewhat of an expert of carpe diem. Not because of a fear of missing out and achieving all that he could, but because Paul seized every opportunity to be a part of God's mission. Paul was in a situation that none of us would like to be in, and yet he refused to be discouraged. Instead, he continued to work joyfully and praise God, continuing God's mission in his jail cell. Remember, when Paul wrote this letter, he was in chains in jail, and he was potentially facing execution. There is no doubt that these two things, being in prison and facing death, are huge obstacles in proclaiming the good news. And yet Paul refused to be discouraged. Instead, he used his time to continue to be a witness for Christ and encourage others to also do the same. We see this in verses 13 and 14, where Paul writes,
"One thing has become clear. I am being held in chains. And boy, are they annoying, because I am a witness for Christ. All the palace guards and everyone else know it. And because I am a prisoner, most of the believers have become bolder in the Lord. They now dare even more to preach the good news without fear." Got to stop biting the end of my pen.
Despite Paul's situation, the gospel continued to advance, not only within the ranks of the Roman Guard, but all across Rome. And Paul says he will continue to be glad despite all of these hard things happening to him, because he knows that more people will come to know Jesus, and he will also come to know Jesus better himself. Paul reminds us, no matter what our circumstances, even the most despairing ones, we can choose to continue to glorify God and point others to his love and truth. No one wants to be in difficult situations or experience testing times, but like Paul, when faced with these situations, it's an opportunity to surrender ourselves again to God, to trust in his plans, and allow God to continue to work in and through us for his glory and kingdom. Each new day is a gift and an opportunity from God to live our lives for him, whether it's calm or chaotic. As disciples of Christ, we can commit to the same gospel purpose as Paul, so that our example might encourage and help point others to continue glorifying God in all that they do. Carpe diem.